¿Cómo se dice los mandatos en inglés? Los mandatos? Commands, exactly. But what is a command, really? What's an example of a command? What does that even mean? When we use the word command, what are we talking about? What's a command? Exactly, telling somebody to do something. So rather than saying, you are setting the table, now we're using a little more force. We're saying, set the table, right? Or clear the table, or wash your clothes, or vacuum, or sweep the floor, or dust. So today we're going to concentrate and learn how to tell people to do things in Spanish or not to do things. Like, oh, don't set the table, I'll do it. Or don't take out the trash, I'll do it. That's a command when you tell somebody even not to do something. And actually, in the Spanish-speaking world, commands are probably, especially, based on my experience, that's like the first thing that I learned, because you learn real quick when somebody tells you to do something, especially in Spanish. And in the Spanish-speaking world, they use commands so much more than we do in the English-speaking world. For example, you're sitting at the table, and in the Spanish-speaking world, they say, pass me the salt, please. And they use their manners. It's still courteous. They attach por favor. But in English, we usually say, can you please pass the salt? Or, can you please, bring me another fork? Even when you order in a restaurant in a Spanish-speaking country, when you make your order, or you need something, if you want another glass of wine or some more water, you use a command and you throw on por favor to make it polite. So these are something that you would pick up on very, very quickly. So what's the difference between usted and ustedes? Because we have different ways of speaking to people in Spanish that demonstrate formality or familiarity. And so when we use commands, we can use them with different types of people. When we say formal commands, or usted and ustedes, who are we talking to? Well, ustedes, first of all, would be what? Multiple people. Like me, I use commands with you all the time, because I use the ustedes form with you. Before every test, I say, saquen un lápiz or una pluma, pongan todos sus materiales en sus mochilas. So I've been using commands with y'all all semester. And so you would just use usted with him. Yeah, singular, right, exactly. Maybe, talking to a police officer or a doctor or somebody you don't know, or an elderly person in a speaking country, or really even, in Costa Rica, they only use the usted form. They don't use the tu form. Or in Colombia, they only use the usted form. They don't use the tu form. So just amongst cultures, there's a lot of variation. So they're good to know, and you will learn them very quick if you go to a Spanish-speaking country. Today, I'm going to present this concept with our vocabulary that we just went over, those domestic chores, los quehaceres domésticos. And I'm talking to my students. You're in college, and we slack off in terms of our home hygiene and keeping things neat and tidy. So I'm going to tell you what you need to do. And I want you to focus on the meaning, because it has to do with our vocab. And then figure out what's going on grammatically with the verbs. Okay, por ejemplo, estudiantes limpian sus casas frecuentemente. So what am I telling you to do? I'm telling you all to do what? Clean your houses frequently, right? So I'm talking to all of you all because I say estudiantes, but how else can you tell that I'm talking to all you all based on sus casas, right? We just talked about possessive adjectives. Sus casas. What about the verb? What do we notice about the verb? Right, it has en. First of all, it has a letter N, but it has en on it. Why is that? What's our infinitive of limpian? Limpiar. So I want you to notice what happens when we tell people to do something. It's a grammar. Estudiantes no ensucian su ropa cuando comen. So what am I telling you all to do or not to do here? To not what? What does ensucian mean? You know? close. Right, to get your clothes dirty. ¿Cómo se dice dirty en español? ¿Saben ustedes? Clean is limpio, the adjective, and dirty is sucio. So now we have our verb, which is actually ensuciar. Es el infinitivo. Limpiar, ensuciar. No ensucian su ropa. So what happened to the verb here? The infinitive, like limpiar, is AR. But notice when I tell you to do something, what happened? It changed. So let's notice any other patterns. Estudiantes barran el suelo después de dar una fiesta. So what am I telling you to do here? Sweep the floor after a party. Gets pretty gross. You need to clean up. No? Barren. ¿Cuál es el infinitivo? Sí, señora. ¿Cuál es el infinitivo de barran? Barrer, no? So what happened to this verb when I told you to do something? It changed again. So limpiar changed to limpien, and barrer changed to barran. So when we tell people to do something, what happens to our verb? We switch the endings. We switch the endings to the opposite endings. Exactly. We still leave on the letter N, but AR verbs change to EN, and ER-IR verbs change to AN. Vamos a ver más ejemplos. Por ejemplo, sacudan los muebles cada semana. Sacudan. So what do I tell you to do? To dust cada semana. ¿Sacuden los muebles cada semana ustedes? ¿Sí or no? No. Phoebe, inmediatamente, no sacudo los muebles cada semana. Pero sacudan. ¿Cuál es el infinitivo? Sacudir. Sacudir, ¿no? Muy bien. So an IR verb changed to AN. No se acuesten tarde por la noche durante la semana. So what am I telling you not to do? Not to what? Yeah, don't go to bed late. Muy bien. Don't go to bed late during the week. No se acuesten. ¿Cuál es el infinitivo de se acuesten? Acostarse. Sí, muy bien. Acostar. Y es reflexivo, no? So our pronoun comes where? In our verb conjugation. Where does our pronoun come in relationship to the verb? Before it, just like we always use it, like se divierten or se duermen, por ejemplo, se relajan. It's coming before the verb, after the no. It's an AR verb, though, so it changes. And we also have what? Our stem change. We didn't have stem changes in the imperfect and only in occasional verbs in the preterite. But with commands, we still are going to change our stems because this is kind of a sentence. So we use formal commands to tell someone, usted, singular, ustedes, y'all, to do something. And usted, generally speaking, is formality, a doctor, a police officer, whatever. Somebody you don't know, or if you're in Colombia or Costa Rica, that's all you're going to use. Or ustedes, and then, of course, in Spain you would use vosotros, but everywhere else it means y'all. So like when I talk to y'all. So like we said, when you form a formal command, and actually one of my students years ago just thought of this little rhyme that I've used ever since. You have to go to the yo form first. Why do you think you have to go to the yo form first? Why is that an important step in the rhyme? Go to the yo. Why do you have to go to the yo form first? Why do you think that is? What were we just talking about? Acostarse. Acostarse, no se acuesten, is a stem changing verb. So going to the yo helps with stem changes. It helps us remember jugar is a stem changing verb. Dormir is a stem changing verb. Empezar, almorzar, all those verbs. Divertirse or despertarse. You have to go to the yo first, then you drop the o, and then change it to the opposite of what you know. So if it's an ER-IR verb, changes to AR verb, ER-IR form, right? Fácil, muy fácil. This is actually a concept that's not very hard to figure out in terms of switching the endings As long as you remember some, of course, there's irregulars and your stem changes. And you're going to see this concept again in a different way this chapter. And you're going to see this concept again in 202. In January, when you take 202, you're going to pick right up where we left off with changing these verbs. So you're going to be doing this for November, December, and all of January. So learn it now so the rest of those months are easy. And pronouns, you know, we talked about last week, I think we were talking about like arreglar la casa or barrer el suelo or lavar los platos and replacing la casa, el suelo, or los platos with lo, la, los, or las. Those would be our object pronouns. But then we can have indirect object pronouns. Give her it, or do it for him. If we want to use those type of commands, him and her with it, then we have to also remember our indirect object pronouns. And then, of course, we have pronouns. So when we use those reflexive pronouns with commands, a lot happens. Límpianlas frecuentemente. What am I telling you here to do? To clean what? To clean them frequently after identifying what we're talking about. Las casas, right? So that's why last Friday I went over lo, la, los, and las when we did that activity quickly at the end of class, replacing la casa with la, or los platos with los. When we do that, where does our pronoun go? Where does the pronoun go? It gets attached to what? The end of the command, right? Limpianlas. No? So when that happens, not only did we switch our ending, limpiar to limpien, and we also have this little accent mark, and we'll identify where these accent marks go here in a second. Limpianlas, perfectamente. Or barranlo, después de dar una fiesta. What am I telling you to do? Right, exactly. But really, I'm not saying sweep the floor. I'm just saying sweep it. You know, when you're a kid and your mom asks you to do something, she usually has to tell you more than once. And when she tells her children more than once to do something, oftentimes we replace the word, el suelo, los platos, with the pronoun. Barrenlo. I already told you to do it. Barren el suelo. Barrenlo, por favor. And again, our pronoun, lo, is replacing el suelo, masculine and singular. Even though we already changed the ending of our verb, we attach our pronoun on the end of our command. Okay? So this is something that's on the super site. Sacúdenlas cada semana. So what am I telling you to do here? Dust them. Dust them. Los is referring to what? Los. ¿Cómo se dice furniture en español? Los muebles. Muy bien. Excelente. Sacúdenlos cada semana. And I'm sure you're noticing on all of these verbs, all of these commands that have pronouns on the end, we have accent marks. So how do you know where the accent marks go? Sacúdenlos cada semana. Acuéstense temprano durante la semana. Our accent is going here. So we're noticing it's either going in the middle or the beginning. But it's hard to tell if you put the accent on the middle vowel or the beginning vowel. Do you know which one it goes on? Okay, we'll identify that here in a second. But what am I telling you to do? Just to reiterate the meaning. Acuéstense durante la semana, temprano. I'm telling you what? To go to bed temprano, no? Acuéstense temprano is telling you what? Go to bed early, right, early. Early, so earlier I said, no se acuesten tarde, and my pronoun went before the verb. But now my pronoun's attached to the end. So we're going to figure out why the pronoun varies, or what determines that, and where you put your accent. That's what we were talking about here in a second. So it gets attached on the end when you tell somebody to do something. Acuéstese temprano. And our accent mark, it goes on the vowel and the second to last syllable in the verb. So first of all, you have to have a verb with 2 syllables to have an accent mark if you attach a command. So like the verb dar, you're never going to have an accent mark when you attach the command because there's only 1 syllable in dar, or ser, which you probably wouldn't use. But with other verbs that have more than 1 syllable, 2 or more syllables, it goes on the second to last, so you have to count backwards. Okay, acuéstense, por ejemplo. And then the se doesn't count as a syllable. So acueste. 3 syllables, and you count backwards. It goes on the E. So why doesn't it go on the U? Do you know why? It goes on a vowel, and our vowels are A, E, O, U. And I don't know if your professor taught you in 101 when you were learning like question words, quién, dónde, por qué, cuánto, cuándo, etc. These are the strong vowels, and we know that each question word has an accent on a vowel. And when you have strong vowels with weak vowels, the strong vowels get the accent marks. And this is going to be important to know when you do the supersite, for sure. Okay, so no la ensucian cuando comen. Here's another example of a command with a pronoun, but now where's the pronoun? Before the verb. Why? Why did it change? What changed it? Repite. It is a command. It is still a command, but what's different about this command? See, Brooke? Negative. Exactly. Because I'm telling you not to do something, then my pronoun goes before the verb. And when that happens, do I have to put an accent mark on my command? No, because I'm not attaching anything to it. No, la ensucian cuando comen. So what am I telling you not to do here? Don't what? Right, don't get it dirty. It, no, referring to la. So when it's negative, the pronoun goes before the command, and you can just stop there. You don't have to worry about counting syllables and accentuation on strong vowels or any of that. It's only when you tell somebody to do something. Have you ever heard like levántense before or siéntense? Maybe in previous Spanish classes. Those are commands. Those are reflexive verbs saying to stand up or sit down. They have accent marks and the pronouns to the end. Okay, so chicos, vamos a ver si ustedes tienen bien el concepto. Primero necesitan seleccionar el verbo apropiado y después la forma correcta del verbo. ¿Y a quién hablamos? See, quitar. So we know we're going to use quitar. Now what do we do to quitar? Yep, now we have to switch the AR to what? To an E. And is it E or EN? Who am I talking to? One person or multiple people? Just one. Okay, so a lot goes on to use these. There's a lot of steps. There's a lot of multitasking. So time. Otro ejemplo. Muy bien. Lavar. Go to the yo, drop the yo, change it to the opposite of what we know. And we're talking to one person, so lave. Lave los platos. What if I wanted to say it again? Clean them. I've already told you once. Clean them. Lávelos. Muy bien. Excelente. Lávelos. ¿Entienden? Okay. So we'll use barrer. Barra. Muy bien. Barra el suelo de la cocina. And I've already told you once. So I want you to sweep it. Bárralo. Muy bien. Excelente. And barra has two obvious syllables, no? Barra. So our accent goes on the A when we attach lo. When we attach lo, we're not going to say suelo again because we just replaced it. That should be señor. Sorry, that's not a woman. Señor. Pasar, so then we change pasar to pase. And then now we want to say, to vacuum it, pásela. Perdón. Muy bien. ¿Entienden? Two syllables, pase, accent on the second to last. And the reason why can't we just say, why don't you just say put it on the first one? Why not just say put it on the first syllable? Right, exactly. Acostar or despertar, divertir. Y claro, tenemos irregulares. But the irregular ones have something in common. So they're not as hard as you think. Clase, pongo la mesa antes de comer. What am I telling you to do? Close. Antes actually means before. Remember, A comes before D. So antes means before. Set the table. Pongo la mesa. Haga la cama. Go to the yo. So all verbs, pongo, hago, digo, tengo, salgo, vengo, all of those verbs that go to the yo are all GAs in their command form. You know, tell the truth, diga la verdad, haga la cama, oiga la música, ponga la mesa. ¿Entienden? And we just add the letter N when I'm talking to all of you all. Pongan sus materiales en sus mochilas. You have heard this at least 3 times this semester, really 6, because I tell you that before ampliaciones as well. Or salgan, tengan paciencia, traiga. Remember the verb traer with pastel? In lección 9, bring the cake, traiga el pastel. Venga a la boda. What am I telling you to do? Venga a la boda? ¿Cómo se dice boda? What's a boda? Again, think back in August, September. La boda. La ceremonia de matrimonio. Sí. So what am I telling you? Venga a la boda. Come to the wedding. Exactly. Come to the wedding. Vengan. Muy bien. Okay, and then we have sound, like phonetic changes. And the reason why I start off referring to her, ella se llama, ¿cómo se llama ella? ¿Cómo se llama esta chica? Cecilia. No, se llama Cecilia. What happens to the letter C in Spanish when it's next to the letter E? It sounds like an S. So when we take a verb like sacar, and if we're just like, oh, change it to the opposite of what you know, sase sounds nothing like sacar. So we have to change that CAR to QUE. Have we seen this before? This spelling change this semester with the verb like sacar or any other verb ending in CAR, buscar, in the preterite yo form. Exactly. Busqué, te busqué ayer. I looked for you yesterday. Te busqué ayer. Buscar, busqué. Only in the yo form. But this is not the yo form. What am I telling her to do? I'm like, Cecilia. What? What am I telling her to do? Take out the trash. So I'm giving her a command. And notice how similar sake as a command looks to the yo form of the preterite. It's all about context, though. Obviously, if you're standing there with the trash and I say, sáquela, they take it out. I'm not talking in the preterite. ¿Cómo se llama él? Jorge. What happens to the G when it's next to an E in Spanish? It sounds like an H. So what do we have to do? Pague, right? We have to throw in that U. Have we seen this before? G-A-R-G-U-E? Otra vez, just like the preterite. Pagué, $5 por mi, I don't know, comida, mi ensalada ayer. La forma de yo del pretérito ayer, but Jorge, pague con su dinero, okay? Su dinero. This is another important thing to note, y'all. This command is talking to Jorge, right? Why don't I just say tu dinero? Why don't I say Jorge, pague con tu dinero? Why is that grammatically incorrect? Why am I saying su dinero? I'm talking to him.
You're using a third-person version of the verb?
Sí, exactly. And what third-person version of the verb am I using? How am I talking to Jorge? What form am I using? I'm not using the to form. Usted, right? Exactly. So maybe maybe Jorge's Costa Rican or Colombian, and they don't use to, so I have to use usted with him, or maybe I don't know him that well. Pague con tu dinero. And empezar has a CE change. And that's not necessarily anything phonetic because Z sounds like an S in Spanish anyway. But it does have a spelling change and a stem change. So we just looked at the verb pagar, a gar verb. Jugar is also a gar verb. And as a command, we have to use the stem change as well. So if I'm like, play soccer, go play soccer, I would say, juegue, al football. And I have to have my stem change and my ending change to tell somebody to play something. No? Conducir. What happened to conducir? ZCAN. Where have we seen that before? These other examples are like the preterite, but this isn't like the preterite. Remember last chapter? Conducir, conduzco, which is why you got to go to the yo. You have to go to the yo before you drop the O and change it to the opposite of what you know to account for this spelling change. Muy bien. So, estar, completely irregular, but easy to remember. It's just completely irregular because of that accent mark. Ir, vayan. What am I telling you to do? Vayan a la biblioteca. Vayan, a foreign language tutoring lab. Go. Vayan. Have you ever heard of vaya before? Has anybody heard that? Have you ever heard the expression vaya con Dios?
Yes.
Sí. That's a command. Used really, I've heard it just amongst Mexicans. Vaya con Dios. Go with God. It's a command. And if you want somebody to just go away, váyase. Get out of here. Váyase, váyase. Maybe, you're hiding. You need somebody to hide, to get out of here. We're about to get busted. Váyase, váyase. Or, you're sick of somebody. Váyase. And saber, sepan. Totally irregular. So careful because the preterite is SUP. But when you're telling somebody to do something, it's SEP. But let me tell you, you're very rarely going to tell somebody to know something. As a command, ser is sean. It's not pronounced shan, and it's not pronounced si. Okay, this is Spanish. We pronounce every vowel. I know. Some students, accidentally say it. Sea and sean. Sea and sean. Sea paciente, por favor. Be patient. Be nice. Sea cortés. So ser, you would use a lot as a command when you tell somebody to clean up their act. There is what? Ban? What am I telling you to do? Ban los PowerPoints? Yeah, look at or watch. Bea. So ser and bear are very similar. Okay, so note to